All right, it's good to see all your smiling faces this morning. It's always exciting to be here in bid class. Couple things before we get going. Thursday is lab work. It's a work day. Yeah. So Cole will be here that day. I will not. So any questions about anything before we get going? Today's lecture? Okay. What I'd like to do just quickly before we get going on the topic for today is just kind of review how we're going to make notations, how we're going to note our plans. I've got a section view up right now. And if I go up to annotation and I go to text and I make sure that my text is at 330 seconds, the font doesn't matter, the font style doesn't matter, the size does. But when we're just making notes, please make them at 330 seconds of scale. Now, I'm going to use an arrow with the broken elbow rather than the curved arrow and rather than the straight arrow. So it's this one here under the large letter A. And I'm going to start with the arrow point, and I'm going to come down at an angle or up at an angle. And then I'm going to click, and then I'm going to go over a little ways to start my text. Click out in space, and it gives me this kind of a angled bend. Then I'm going to make another one. I want to just call out another item here. I'm going to click with where I want the arrow point to be, and then I'll come down at an angle until it lines up with the bend on the other one. Click, and then I'll go till it lines up with the end of the arrow. Click again, and that way it lines up my text, lines up the arrows, lines up the bends in the arrows. And that's how I'd like to make sure it's done. Okay. All right. Today's topic is sweeps and reveals. So we're going to spend a little bit of time doing that today. It shouldn't take too long. What I'm going to do first is just show you how to do sweeps and reveals on walls and roof edges. And then we'll create our own profile and see how that works. And then we'll take questions after that. So it shouldn't take, the lecture part of today shouldn't take too long. And this is a fairly simple assignment. So hopefully this week you can get all caught up. I know some of you are a little bit behind. So, all right. I'm going to go to the three-dimensional view of my model for this. And then I'm going to start with wall sweeps and wall reveals. And to do that, we go to the architecture tab and go to wall. Under that tab, all the way down at the bottom, we have an option to select a sweep or a reveal, either one. All right, the sweep adds to the wall, the reveal takes away from the wall. Okay, so as you can see, if I hover over the wall, it gives me kind of a default sweep. And I can come over here and click the down arrow, or click the edit type, and then I can come over here to under construction. I can look at the profile, and I can right click over, or I can click over here on the right end of the profile and select whatever is preloaded. Whenever I create a new profile, I do it with all caps, all capital letters, so I can see that I changed it. Everything else in my file is default in the Revit. Revit made that. So let's see. If I can do 2 bricks, a soldier course of 2 bricks if I want to, that's default in Revit. Click apply, okay. And then I can see that this is 2 bricks tall. Click here, and then click around the edge. I can go all the way around and add this reveal if I want to. Click out of space. Now I've got this brick reveal on this wall, even though it's a concrete wall. I decided to put a brick reveal around it. I'm sorry, that's a sweep, not a reveal. I made a mistake. I put a brick sweep on it, not a brick reveal. All right, now if I want to put a reveal under this, then I can come down here to reveal, and it defaults to some shape. It may be one that I loaded in there before, but I'm going to choose a new one. Go to edit type, and down here at profile, it says default. I'm going to change that to something else. It's got several things loaded. I can do a single brick soldier course reveal. I'm going to apply that, and it doesn't look like a single brick soldier. Let's see, edit type. No, it's just a regular brick course, not a soldier. So I can place that in here, double click on the wall, and you can see that that reveal is taken out. So come on and do that all the way around. All right, so if they don't connect in the corners, you can, what it allows you to, what you can do is click one of the reveals, and you can, if you zoom in, you can see a little blue dot, and you can pull it out past the corner a little bit, and it should break that corner and give you a chance for them to connect. All right, the beauty of this kind of thing is that now, if I want to, I can go back in and put expansion joints or control joints in my concrete. What's the difference between an expansion joint and a control joint? Anybody know? You got a big slab of concrete and you know it's going to crack.
So the control joint allows you to crack and expansion.
So it's thank you. So an expansion joint is a joint between two separate pours of concrete or two different pieces of concrete that allows the concrete to expand against each other, and the joint is flexible, so it can be squished in the heat, and then still room for the concrete when it contracts to there still be a little bit of a gap there. And control joints are trying to control where the cracks go. If you've got a big slab of concrete and you do a saw cut that's a certain thickness and width, then when it cracks, it tries to find the weakest point, and typically the weakest point is where it's thinnest, which is the theory anyway between control joints. So that's the difference between a control joint and an expansion joint. So what this allows, these sweeps and that kind of thing allow us to model quickly and to create these large expanses of concrete. Then we can go back in and put our control joints. And quite often when we do something like that, we have an opportunity for architecture, an opportunity for design. So what I'd like to do right now is come up with some sort of a tooled joint that I might tool into this concrete that will hopefully control where those cracks happen over time. And I can line them up with things. So now what we're going to do for just a minute is I'm going to come over here to File and go to New, and I'm going to go to Family. So I'm opening up a new file where I can create a profile that I can draw and then pull that into this project to create a reveal. Now this brings me back to my templates, and I've got it under English Imperial, and I'm going to come down here and look for profile. Now here there are several profiles I can choose from. There's hosted, mullion, rail, reveal, etc. I'm going to go to just profile. It gives me plenty of flexibility, and I'm going to open that. Now before I start, I'm going to save this. as a family. I think I'm going to go put it on my desktop for now. And I've created this folder called Imperial for my stuff for Revit. And I'm going to call this concrete control joint. And I'm doing this in all caps because now I'll know that I did it. When it's in a long list of things, everything with all caps, the things that I put in there. All right, now I never can remember whether it's the vertical line or the horizontal or the left or the right that's inside the wall and outside the wall. So I'm going to sketch something and then I'm going to put it in the model. And then if I need to flip it over or flip it upside down, I can do that. So for right now, what I'm going to do is use this center point, which is the placement point. And I'm going to draw a shape, and then in a reveal format, it will be a negative. So I'm gonna assume that the face of the wall is this line, this vertical line. I may be assuming that wrongly, but I'm gonna go back in, say 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to save this again now that I have something drawn. Now I'm going to load this into the project. Now, theoretically, it's loaded. So I should be able to go to my architecture tab, my wall, come down to reveal and edit type. And I should be able to, under profile, come down here to concrete control joint, which is right here. I'm going to say apply, okay. And theoretically, this is it. I want to switch to thin line so I can see it. So now I can see that I've got that little joint in there. So, all right, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna modify this a little bit because I can, and because I want to demonstrate how to do it. So now I have this reveal, this family folder still open. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it so that it sheds water, if it rains. And I think I'll leave the insertion point where it is for right now. So I've saved this new profile and I'm going to load this into the project. And it's asking me if I want to overwrite the existing version. And I'm going to say, yes, I do. Go back to my three-dimensional model. Now I can see that my joint has a rake on the bottom of it. So theoretically it can shed water. Doesn't really matter. I just wanted to show you that you can modify your own profile while we're in the middle of the stream. Okay, so now I can go in again to my wall, reveal, and I can place another one here. And here, except I have to go back and do it again, I guess. And here we've got that problem again where it wants to stop. So I'm going to find one of these that I can actually stretch out. See if it'll let me do it. There we go. So now it can go all the way around. All right, now what I really like about this is now if I want to, I can adjust where these things are. And I can place them, for example, right here at my fireplace. So I think I'll do that. I think I will create use some form that I already have in there as an excuse to place these control joints where I want them. So I'll create my section box. All right, so let me try this again. Wall, reveal. I want to put one right at the top of my fireplace. And I think I might even put one right at the bottom of my fireplace. And I'm also going to put one right at the level of my floor. And I think that gives me a good chance to now go wrap this thing around. I'm going to see if I can move this with my align tool. And so we can align these with the align tool if we need to. So I'll go ahead and sweep around. Now, if I was being wise, I can highlight that and it becomes the center of my rotation. If you are rotating and you've got a whole big scope out there, then it wants to rotate the whole, it does rotate the whole thing, but the center is somewhere that you're not controlling. But if you highlight something, it becomes the center of your rotation and it's easier to control. So, all right, so I'm going to finish this up. One more. I'm going to use my align tool and align those. I can hit tab if I need to find it, to find the plane I'm looking for. Okay. All right, now what I'd like to do is put some vertical ones in. So I can do a new reveal for vertical if I want to. And once I highlight the reveal, then I come over here to the right and it gives me a chance to choose vertical over horizontal. And so you may want to place some of those in there too. I'm going to put one on the edge of my fireplace. Okay. So you can see that instead of just allowing the contractor to put them wherever they want to, you can actually add to the experience of your architecture by controlling where you put the control joints. So it's a good opportunity to be able to do that. Now, you can see here that I actually have a baseboard in place here in my project. I've done that by the same method. Okay, I'm going to take this one out. So I can come up here and do a wall sweep if I want to. This is a sweep. It'll be coming out from the wall instead of recessed in the wall. I'm going to go back to horizontal here. And I'm going to change the type, edit the type. And I'm going to choose a profile that's something more in keeping with being a base molding. Here's one that I've created before. Here is actually a profile of a C channel. So there's several different things I've got in here. I can create a new one. If I want to, I could probably even take my control joint and make a baseboard out of that. Let's see what it looks like in a sweep instead of a reveal. There, it's a little ledge. I think that's goofy, so I'm gonna change it. So I can highlight that and then go over here and edit the type. And change that. I want to see what this C channel looks like. And there, I've got my C channel as a baseboard. Very exciting. And my Roomba won't mess up my paint. It'll bang into the C channel instead. Okay, so you can see that you can create your own channel. You can your own profile and use the profile for any kind of a sweep you want. Now sweeps can go vertically and horizontally, as you've seen. You can also make them. You can also create a line and then pick that line, and the sweep can follow the line. I'm not going to go into that for this class. It's a little bit more complex than what you need to know how to do in this class. But it can follow a curved line. You can make wine glasses out of sweeps if you want to. There's different things you can do to create to get into the kind of architecture you want to, or the kind of detail that you want to. Window trim, it's nice to be able to do window trim and corner trim, doing the same thing. What I'd like to do is show you that I can take a profile that I've created. Actually, that is a profile I've created. I think I'll erase it. I'm gonna create a profile for a fascia. So I think I'll go back. I'm gonna show this one more time, how to create my own profile. I'm gonna go to File. I'm gonna go to New, Family. I'm gonna scroll down until I find Profile, and I'm just gonna click the generic one. I'm gonna open that. The insertion point is where the crosshairs cross. I'm gonna try a new fascia. I think I'll just I'll use a good letter. So it'll be a double gutter. All right, we'll see how this goes. So I'm gonna save this as a family in my Imperial folder that I created, and I'm gonna call it a W fascia. Now I'm gonna load it into the project so that it lives in this new project. Since I have the other family still open, it's asking me, do you want to put this in the other family, or do you want to put it in the project? And I'm going to say I'm going to put it in the project, which is what it guessed that I would say. And now when I can come up here to my roof, and I can drop down to fascia, and I can edit the type, go to profile, and go to W fascia, and let's just see what happens. It's way overkill, but it works. Okay, see how that is? So I could have created anything I wanted, and it would attach then as a sweep, or yeah, a sweep. All right. Any questions about any of this so far? So you can see that Revit allows you some design flexibility. the trouble is that it asks you to categorize it, and it asks you to follow this kind of family tree kind of a thing all the way back to what it is. If it's a reveal, you need to know that at the beginning. So it's revealed, and you work backwards into the profile, and then you place it through that pathway. You can't just say, I want to put this profile on there. But you've got to know whether it's a fascia or whether it's a, you gotta know whether it's on the wall or whatever. But you can also see that if you can get your general form work done in Revit, you can go back and revise it. I can go back and change this profile just by clicking the profile, my fascia profile, and changing it to something else. I'll click this W right here, and I can come up to my roof fascia, and then I can change this profile to 1x8 flat. And it just goes back to something average. It's not as exciting as my double rain catcher. Okay, so you can do things quickly, you can revise them quickly. Some of the beauties of using this software in design development and construction documents. Okay. This is what your assignment will look like. I'm asking you to add multiple reveals to your concrete mass. I'm going to ask you to put trim, perimeter trim in at least one room, and you're going to show it in interior perspective. And you're going to do multiple, these two are interior, you're massing on the interior and some sort of trim on the interior, and then exterior, you're going to put trim in your concrete mass, or reveals, or sweeps, or both. And then you're going to create elevations and interior images so that we can see what you've done. All right, I want to demonstrate real quickly how to show an interior image real quick. You can do that by using this section box, but I want to show you a different way to do it just real fast. Go to my entry-level floor plan, not that one, this one. Then I can come up to my view. Where's my camera at? Here it is. Under 3D view, go to my camera. I can click my place right here, and then drag in the direction I want to look. And I need to drag the end of it as far or further than I want to look, and click, and then it gives me that view. And then I can adjust by pulling down here, pulling over. But if I pull too much one way or the other, then it gets distorted, but this kind of gives you an idea. Now, if I want to see this line connection between the floor and the wall here, I can, the reason I can't see it is because they're not joined. They're passing one past the other. If I join them, click here, and then the floor somehow, then it begins to, here, I'll see if I can do it in this view. This wall and this floor, then I can go back to a 3D view, and you can see that now I can see a line there. It shows the connection. When I join them, you can see that the line appears in my Revit views. Okay, so that's how you'll show your interior views. Any thoughts or questions? Okay, that's it for today for my lecture. Take a 10-minute break and come back and we'll do a lab, and we'll knock off half hour early.
What did you join those?
The join button. If I have to be able to click both of them. So if let's see. No. Yeah, I go to modify, join this and it's already joined, so it's not gonna let me do it again. So if I unjoin it, I guess I could do that. Unjoin this, that, and that. It shouldn't matter which one I click first. Yeah.
I was saying that.